Well, hello everyone. Um, Everything is changing, and I'm going to slide me over to the other side because my face is being blocked by the comments. Okay, so now that wasn't it. I'm trying to get the studio. I'm in Studio One, and look, let me tell y'all something. They have changed Studio One on me with no notice. Uh, Everything in the studio is going the other way. It's just, and then not only that, they I got the chat has changed. Excuse me, going live was changed. I didn't understand any of this, what happened. So anyhow, I'm here now, and I'm gonna bring in the rest of the team because they're here with me. Hi, Mary. Thank you so much. Um, it was weird when I put your comment up there. The writing was white, and now it's green. Spooky around here, y'all. Getting really spooky. Okay, let me get some help in here because things are changing too fast for me. All right, we got the heartbeat of the South and every beat of my heart, Tim Harrington. Hey, Tim.
Hey, Mom, how's
God,
everybody doing?
there's some spooky stuff going on. That's all of a sudden now. Oh,
I
wow.
see. I see.
Yeah, so let me get some more people in here. So let's see if we can't handle these ghosts together. We're gonna move on with the girl herself. It's Kathy C.C. Carson. I know Kathy can get them in line. Hi,
Hey,
That was
Kathy.
Kathy.
fun.
Hey,
I'm with him
hey.
on this shit.
Yeah, I mean it's really weird. The studio changed on me. We had to do another whole show link, but you know what? We got the Ziggy of the Paranormals himself here with us tonight. He can help
You
us fix it.
do.
What's up,
Hey,
Wow.
John?
Zig.
Hi,
What's up?
Hey,
Hi,
What's
hey.
up,
Ziggy.
Ziggy? Ziggy one, what's going on?
what's going on?
Hey, Ed. Ed say boo.
Hi, and
What's up,
Hi,
Ed?
Ed. Boo back to you. I'm gonna put Kathy up here, put me down here so everybody can be seen. All right then. I tell y'all, it has been crazy last 30 minutes. Well, actually, an hour or so because Tim called. I'm so happy that Tim always is the first one that checks with me about the links. If he can't get in the studio, he goes in early. And then he's my signal to let me know if things are working. So he told me he couldn't get in the studio. I'm like, what? So I said, let me check these links and see what's going on. And doggone it, if they hadn't changed the studio, they changed the platform, they changed my show link. Now they want you to download the desktop. I've been doing it from the browser. And then when I hit it's already scheduled, and usually I just hit go live, and then it just starts going live. Today, when I hit it, y'all, this evening, I had to click every platform again that I wanted to broadcast on. It
Mm.
was crazy, man. So I'm hoping they got their stuff straightened out because We got a show tomorrow night and a big top show. Got a top guest coming in Friday night from France,
All
from
right.
another country. So we can't have all these shenanigans going on with the studio. But
That's
then, of
right.
course, we won't be in Studio One. We'll be in Studio Three, I think.
Mm.
Yeah. So maybe it's already set and it'll be fine. So, hey guys, what's going on with you, Kathy? How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. This morning I didn't feel that great. I don't know why, but today I got improved, so I feel better now.
Yeah, me too. I've been dealing with a bad tooth for about 4 days now, and I've got to go and get these teeth out, Ed Waters. But I got busy, and then I don't like the dentist anyway. Is there anybody that like going to the dentist? If y'all
Nobody.
like,
Nobody.
I know, right? And I hate going to the dentist. You like the end result, but
Yeah.
gosh, when they get in your mouth, God, I hate that.
Yeah.
We don't even want to talk about that. Ed say nope, he don't like going to the dentist either.
Yeah.
So Mary is here from Michigan. Mary, do you like going to the dentist? Anyhow, I just kept putting it off. Thank you so much, Ed. Um, Ed is a broadcaster also, and he and I, we used to do a Twitter broadcast together. That was a new platform that he and I was trying out. And Mary say, nope, not at all. She does
Mhm.
not like to go to
Yeah.
the dentist. And she says, LOL. So, I put it off as long as I can. And so I guess I don't want to go now for November because Thanksgiving is coming up. I don't want to go for December because Christmas is coming up. In
Yeah.
January,
Yeah.
we got, a lot going on. So I'm trying to get filming. Yeah, get dialogue. That's right there, Ed. Yeah, that was the name of it, dialogue. Um, and that's the broadcasting platform Ed and I both had a show on, and it just went away, and it was doing pretty good, wasn't it,
Mm.
Ed? I don't know why they went away. So I wish they come back. Anywho, listen, tonight, you guys, we got to talk about premonitions.
Okay.
Let me tell you the difference between a dream, a premonition, and a prophecy. Because somebody made a comment about our post, and Ed said, "Yeah, and they paid well. They sure did, Ed." um, yeah, the studios that we use now don't pay us nothing. That I'm using now don't pay me anything. But anyhow, and then there was another one that came out that paid us a little. Well, it was coins, and you could cash out. But hey, Sandra, and it went away. So I don't know why these good ones go away, and they were really good. It was working out well. Everybody loved it, and everybody really kind of just almost just threw a tantrum when
Mm.
dialogue went away.
Mhm.
Yeah, Haps. That's right, Ed. You already know. Haps, he and I both was on Haps and dialogue. He's a broadcaster too. Thank you, Ed, for that. You got a great memory. You got a memory like an elephant. Yeah. So anyhow, somebody made a comment on the post of the show that said, I think I asked, do you believe that premonitions can predict the future? So somebody that saw the post made a comment and said, no, not unless you can warn. Um, uh, it was something about do some warnings or something before it happens. So that's not a premonition. That's a prophecy. A prophecy is when you know that something is definitely going to happen, and you do have time to warn people or warn someone. A dream is when we are in our REM state when we go to sleep. And that's totally different from daydreaming now because we got people that do daydreaming all the time too. But dreams also can give you messages, send you messages. We get messages from our relatives, from friends, from angels, from entities. So, but a premonition is actually when you're asleep, but it feels like you're not asleep. It feels like you are moving in real life, and this is actually happening to you. You can feel, smell, and everything. A dream-like state, you can't really just smell, and you can't really you can feel a little bit, but you just can't really feel for real.
Mm.
But in a premonition, when you're having a premonition, you're like half awake, really, and half asleep. And you actually go into another dimension when you have a premonition. And Kathy has had one that she's going to share. I've had one, I've had several, during down through the years. I'm going to share two. One of them happened when I was carrying the every beat of my heart right there, that boy right there in my stomach. So I want to share that one. That was like the first time really that I knew that I had that ability. And so James may have one that he can share as well. But what we're gonna do is Ed say LOL. I know, right? So we're gonna go to a commercial break. And y'all look, don't go away. We are here to talk about some. Don't go away.
Ooh, we're firing up the Chewy app. Can't say no to these prices. Clumping litter? Resounding yes. Salmon pate? Love that for me. Essentials? Check. Ooh, we have enough to splurge on catnip toys. We did it. I feel so accomplished. Pet me, please. Okay, that's enough. Now back to me time. Love you.
Great prices, happy pets. Chewy. Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I feel free to bare my skin thanks to Sky Rizzy. I'm celebrating my clearer skin my way. With Sky Rizzy, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. In another study, most people had 90% clearer skin even at 5 years. And Sky Rizzy is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, had a vaccine, or plan to. Thanks to clearer skin with Sky Rizzy, this is my moment. There's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Now's the time. Ask your doctor about Sky Rizzy, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Learn how AbbVie could help you save.
To 50 years with my best friend and my soulmate.
The Quicker Picker-Upper. When you gotta get it done, one sheet is all you need. And Bounty is 50% more absorbent, so you can use less and get the job done with one.
You've got a bit of your face on your face.
Bounty, the Quicker Picker-Upper.
Here's a thread. The power to connect is the power to change. Connect 2 dots and change the whole plot. Connect one day and change a long week. Connect to one thought and change what you speak. Connecting these hearts, we change their flow, the plan, the path, the course, route, and road. Connect with uncertainty and change what we know. The plots that unfold,
The seeds that we grow.
Connect and change what you want. What do you want?
What do you want?
¿Qué es lo que quieres? Find it and lose it again. Don't like the hue? Change the color. Scared of the storms? Change their thunder. Don't share the dream? Dream another. Connect and change. The phase, a place, the dance, the towns, the now, your vow, the news, the views, the fight, the night, the light. Anything you like.
Connect.
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 Connect. Connect and change. Connecting changes everything. AT&T.
Got a little delay.
Yeah, we got a little delay going on. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight and being with us. Let's see, James, look like you're taller than me, so I'm going to switch you. There we go. Now, and we can see the comments. We can still see James. All right, then. Kathy, I want you to tell us and the audience about. All right, Ed gave us some stars. Thank you so much, Ed. uh, or is that a alien uh, communication?
Mm.
All right, so Kathy, share your premonition with us.
Okay. Well, I was staying at my grandparents' house, a farmhouse on North Street, in Enfield, Connecticut, and I had it. It was more than a dream. It was probably a premonition because it felt like I was dreaming, but everything felt so real. What
Yeah.
happened is I all of a sudden I just like appeared where there was a lumber yard, and I had never been inside the lumber yard, but
Mm-hmm.
I was in a building that had lumber all through it. And I thought, what am I doing here? That was the first thing. It's like, what am I doing here? And then I was being chased and my life was threatened. And I started running, trying to get away
Mm-hmm.
from my attacker. He was a
Mm-hmm.
male, and but he meant business. I could tell, and
Mm-hmm.
my life felt threatened. So I thought to myself, "Who can I call right now to
Mm-hmm.
help me?" I was about to call my twin sister, but I knew she would panic. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is how real it felt, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't call her, even though I probably started to scream out her name. And then I changed my mind and I thought, who is more dependable? Who's going to believe me? So
Mm-hmm.
my friend who was a year older than me, her name was Cindy Riley. I decided to call her. So
Mm-hmm.
I called her name and I
Mm-hmm.
looked at the calendar on the wall and it said
Mm-hmm.
a specific date. And I think it was in October, actually. I think it was autumn because that's how much I
Yeah.
remember. And
Yeah.
when I woke up, I thought, wow, that's the strangest dream. So I
Yeah.
called my girlfriend up and I told her all about it. And I said, I hope, actually, did I even tell her about it? No, I didn't even tell her about it. That's what's so crazy about it. I didn't even tell her about it.
Yeah.
And she called me up and she said, I had the strangest dream about you. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
well, what did you dream about? She said, I dreamt that you were running around in the lumber yard, in a building, and you called my name. And so I came to help you. And I'm like, yeah, well, I remember the date on the wall. So I told her the date on the wall. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe like a week went by, maybe a little longer, maybe less, but around that time. And we used to meet each other halfway on the railroad tracks. And then
Mm-hmm.
she would go home after staying at the farmhouse, and we'd walk her there. So she said, that tonight is the night that was on the calendar on the wall. She goes,
Uh-oh.
we're going to have to be really careful. So I
Yeah.
said, okay. So when we met I walked her to the railroad tracks, and she stayed over the night before to kind of protect me. We heard rustling in the bushes. We heard
Yeah.
human footsteps,
Uh-huh.
and it was like brushing the bushes away, like kind of thing. And it was like really angry, like
Yeah.
almost running, like territorial. And we're like, oh my gosh. So we just ran all the way back to my grandparents' house. And we
Mm-hmm.
realized we had missed something really bad because there's a prison not far from there. And we told the story to my grandmother, and she said, yeah, people escape out of there all the time. So
Wow.
feeling it. And then we found out a prisoner had escaped.
Yep.
And so
That was
it actually
definitely
saved my
wow.
life. Yeah.
That was definitely a premonition. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
had it. You had it. It was a warning premonition. for
Mm-hmm.
you to protect yourself and be cautious. And
Exactly.
the railroad was obviously close to the or well connected
Lumberyard.
to the railroad yard, right? I mean the lumber
And the
yard, right?
lumberyard. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's
And we
exactly what that was. Yeah.
yeah, and actually she wasn't even going to meet me that night for some
Hmm.
reason, but then she did to protect me kind of thing. You know what I mean? So all
Yeah.
of it worked out.
And then
Mhm.
what's also is the plus to that premonition is that you and your twin has such a strong psychic connection because you're twins, you
Right.
know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, and so that's a very interesting stuff premonition story. Yeah, thank you
Really.
so much.
Sure.
Ever had something like that to happen that maybe took you like an out of body experience, or and then it actually happened?
Mm.
Who are you asking? Emily, you broke
I
up.
was, yeah, okay. I was asking Tim and James if they had ever experienced something like a premonition or an out of body experience.
I would have to say not to my knowledge, or I just can't recall.
Hmm.
However, I do have a lot of what do they call it when it was just a
Deja vu.
deja
Deja
vu.
vu.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
I have
Yeah.
a lot of those, which I think is, I don't know if it's normal, is it weird? I don't know, but it raises a lot of questions when it happens. A lot of people, some people have said that it's a glitch in the matrix
Uh-huh.
that we are in. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Connecting with the universe. It's a deja vu's is actually, if you have a lot of them, that means that you were a traveler and you had a lot of them. You've had this. It's always seeming like you've been somewhere
yeah,
before,
yeah,
or that you've done that before.
yeah. That or in the same space at the same time on different dates, though.
Ah, wow. Now that is really interesting, James. What do you
Yes,
make that
ma'am.
out to be? What do you make that out to be? What Tim said? That's really odd. On the same date, same space. I mean, different dates, but same space.
Yeah, and time.
Mm-hmm.
How's the weather on the moon, Tim?
I can't recall.
I think you
Well, you're
you
there
were
now.
I know, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
he's there
yeah,
now, right?
yeah. It's speculation in that. I think that was supposed to be the one step for
Yeah.
mankind, one leap for mankind, or something to that effect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But Tim, apparently you were a traveler in your lifetime, your previous lifetimes, in one of them.
Mm.
Because the reason why I know that people have past lifetimes, and a lot of people don't believe this, is because the stars are energies of life, and that's what the Egyptians believed. That when a star is born, because stars are born, every time a star is born, that's a life, that's a baby being born. But
Mm.
stars also die, and they die on their own, and scientists have not been able to figure out why they die. Well, they have some convoluted kind of scientific explanation, but
I
it
always,
doesn't make common sense to anybody, right?
I always heard Emily. If you dream
Yeah.
about death, it's a baby being born.
Yeah, yeah. If
I
you
thought it
dream
was
about
fish.
it, as yeah, death is a birth, is a marriage or a baby, a
Oh,
newborn. Mm-hmm. So and now James, let me clarify the difference.
All
If you
right.
that the definite death sign is when you dream about teeth. You don't want to dream about teeth. That's definitely a death sign. I have predicted so many deaths coming when I've dreamed about teeth. But when you dream about death, it depends. Is it your death, somebody else's death, as to what the meaning of it is? Normally, when you dream about somebody else dying, it is a signature, a sign of a newborn being, coming, or somebody in your family, or somebody is pregnant, and they
Mm.
just found out, or somebody that you know in your circle of friends or family is going to get married, and that and then they'll make the announcement after you've had this dream, you see. And so that is like it's not a premonition, it's more like a prophecy. The only thing about it is you wouldn't be able to tell the person because you wouldn't know which person it is
Mm.
that's going to have the baby or
Well,
that is going to get married.
I
Kathy,
knew who I knew who was going to almost die, and I kind of talked her out of dying, actually. So
really
that's
share, please share.
okay. Well, it's my grandma Mary, and so what happened is she was in a nursing home her later days. But I had a dream that I was at the ocean, and she was standing in the ocean, walking towards the waves, and it was a full
Mm-hmm,
moon, and
mm-hmm,
I ran in after her, and she had this blank look on her face, like totally blank.
mm-hmm,
It's like when my dad passed.
mm-hmm,
Actually, that's a different story, but he had that kind of blank look. But anyway, I said no. I said you can't go, you can't die, you have to stay until I visit you. And
mm-hmm,
so I lived on Cape Cod, and she was located in Connecticut. So it would have took about at least 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours to get to her. And I knew I had to make arrangements.
mm-hmm,
So I did it as quickly as I could. And then I called my Aunt Alice, who was her caregiver at the time, and
mm-hmm.
asked her, how is her health? And she said she almost died last
Oh my
Mm.
night.
goodness!
And I'm
Wow.
like, what? They said, yeah, she had a urinary tract infection, which is pretty common in the nursing homes, and she almost died, but she came out of it. So I was thinking, my gosh, I must have been the one that got her out of it. And then
Mm.
because of that dream, and so then I
Mm-hmm.
drove to see her, and she was glowing. She was glowing like
Wow.
Joe.
Isn't that amazing? That's awesome. You know,
Yeah. I didn't want to leave her because I knew she'd die, and she
you
did.
were you were an interceptory, what they call
Yeah,
an interceptory angel.
yeah,
And so when we say that we have our angels around us, protecting us and
mm,
watching out for us, angels are not necessarily entities that are not human. We
right,
have a lot of humans that are angels, and most of us have angels within our circle of friends or associations. And the thing about it, most of the time, what is some people can kind of feel like they have that servitude reputation as to they might have an angelic duty to do here.
mm,
But most of the time, people don't even know that they are interceptory angels. You
Yeah.
right.
know,
I,
they
yeah.
because you didn't know that, did you? Go ahead, Tim. You got
No,
something good, huh?
no, not really. I was just I was just thinking back and reminiscing, and I remember when my grandmother passed.
Mm-hmm.
I had spoke with her. I was working a graveyard shift, and I spoke with her and everything prior to me leaving.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I was at work, I received a phone call to work. But when they told me the phone was for me, I knew that she was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
just I don't know. It's like somebody just told me she's gone.
Yeah. Yeah. She
Yeah,
probably told you. She
yeah,
probably told you.
Was she
And
close with you, Tim?
yeah. Very close.
oh
Yeah.
God, yes, yes, definitely. Well, my little story is about when I was carrying him. I was 7 months pregnant, and Tim, your grandmother and I was in a car, and we were shopping, had run some errands, and so we parked into this kind of like a outlet store, and it was like on a hillside. Y'all may have heard me tell the story before. And I mean, it had the parking lanes and everything. And this car pulled up beside us. Uh, there was a lady in there, and she had like 3 or 4 kids in there, and the kids was just jumping around and bouncing and playing.
Yeah.
And then and we hadn't even got out of the car. I was driving, and I was just getting ready to put the car in park. And this is the time when you had to park on the steering wheel,
Yeah.
the thing you push up.
Yeah.
And they, yeah, and I just pushed it up, and I said, Mama, I said, I'm gonna move because I said those kids gonna knock that car out of gear. And before I could get almost the word gear out of my mouth, the
Exactly.
car started rolling with those kids in it.
Wow.
Because the woman had already just gone in the store, she just
Yeah.
hopped right out. Because she was a young lady, and of course she could move faster than me and your grandmother.
Right.
Tim, you remember your grandmother at that time? I suppose she weighed about 200, and then I was pregnant, so we were slow to get out of the car.
Yeah.
We're taking our time.
Right.
But the woman pulled up, and she jumped out of the car. She goes in the store, and just as I was getting ready for us to go to open the door and get out, I said, Mama, I said, I'm gonna move because those kids gonna knock their car out of gear. And before I could get it out, that car started rolling. And they weren't even, when I said it, they weren't even over by the steering wheel. I
Yeah.
mean, that's when I learned that I had the ability to have those premonitions instantly like that.
Yeah, that was
Uh,
close.
yeah, that was really close. And the thing about it was, I think it took a pregnancy. A lot of women will have that. They'll call it a mother's instinct when they're pregnant, but it's not really a mother's instinct. It is actually a premonitionary power. I think that God gives to mothers, mothers who are pregnant, to watch out and guard and protect that baby. So a lot of people have had premonitions and they just don't realize that they've had them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? I you just made me think about something. It
Uh-huh.
seems like to me that there should have been a whole lot of lawsuits towards the manufacturer of vehicles back then because that was something that happened frequently that
Yeah.
children were able to pull the gear
Oh yeah.
out of
Uh-huh.
park.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
no
step
telling how many, fatalities that happened because of that.
well step
Yeah.
back even a little bit before that. On the column was
Yeah,
the shifter. It was
right.
Well,
man.
Uh-huh.
I saved myself, and well, I was only 5, and the rest of the kids in my family when that happened.
Oh
Oh
no, Kathy, what? You mean y'all are messing with the steering wheel?
But kids don't know.
I also saved my cousin, and then she got mad and lied and said she didn't put the car in reverse.
Oh no. Oh
She didn't
no.
want to get in trouble. Yeah, so I've saved myself, my siblings, and also my cousin.
Well,
But she
that
won't.
was smart.
Yeah,
That was smart of you to know which way to put the gear. That
yeah.
deserves a round of applause.
Well, I know
Yeah,
this is an issue with cars back then. Yeah, I knew that. I know that now.
right.
Yeah. Okay, Ed, we thank you so much for stopping by. Ed
Thank
says
you.
great stories. He needs to run for now. Enjoy your night and stay safe and well.
All
We
right, you
will.
too,
Let's
Ed.
give
Bye,
Ed a
Ed.
round of applause. Thank you for Ed. Thank you so much for your input.
Bye, Ed.
That round of applause is for you, Ed. All right. All right. This is a good time for us to take a break. And when I come back, I will share the one that it seems is the most recent one that I had. And not only did I have it one time, I've had it 3 times within the last year and a half or so. So I, you know which one that
Yeah,
is, and I've often told people a war is coming.
yeah.
So That's the one I'm gonna share again. I know you guys may have heard it on the team before, but we'll always have people watching the show that never watched the show before and never heard it. So
I never heard it.
okay, well I'll be telling it in just
Mhm.
a few minutes. We're coming up now. Okay.
So, are you going to Amy's wedding?
I don't have the money. Yeah, you do. Who are you? I'm you from the future, and I just got paid.
And I'm Dave. I can get you up to $500 of your future money now.
Up to $500 instantly?
Instantly.
That's amazing. Oh, who's he? Oh, this is Paolo. We met at the reception. Hi. Hola. Hello. Paolo. That's me.
Download Dave and get up to $500 instantly.
Need to get your windshield fixed? SafeLight makes it easy. You can schedule it in just a few clicks, and we'll come to you with a replacement you can trust.
It's great.
That service on your time. Schedule now.
SafeLight Repair, SafeLight Replace.
I am Conor McGregor, multiple weight MMA champion. I'm a fighter and I've been through many battles in the octagon. Many consider my fights in the octagon heroic, but the real life heroes are those men and women who fight to protect us every day. The real life fighters, the real life heroes, are the firefighters and police officers. These first responders are true heroes, because these brave men and women put themselves in the line of danger every single day protecting us all. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation ensures that first responders from fire, EMS and police departments who are killed in the line of duty with young children have a home without the burden of a mortgage. They are my heroes. They need our help today. I'd like to ask you to join me in donating $11 a month to support their efforts. Your $11 a month honours and supports our first responders. Please call now at 1-844-BRAVEST or visit tunneltotowers.org.
Welcome to the Shack 12-Week Shred. My name is Rock Shabazz, and I'm here to take you through the same program that I made for this guy right here.
This program is without a doubt a huge reason why I was able to get fit and stay fit. If you put in the work and stay consistent, you just might be able to keep up. It's time for you to get to work.
Okay, so we're back. I was sharing. We're back, but the commercial's not back. Okay, now we are on Facebook. Okay, they had a delay. Normally, the studio falls behind Facebook, but this time, Facebook fell behind the studios. I guess because of the change that they made today, which is better. I guess somebody told them about it. I just didn't have time to tell them about it. I have too much to do.
Oh yeah.
So anywho, this is a premonition that I had hoped that would not come true, because it was very scary, and I think that this premonition that I had 3 times in a row. And there is a number, a spiritual and psychic, what do you call it? Foundation or symbolic meaning, symbolic meaning with the number 3. And I had hoped it wouldn't happen, but I think it's happening now, and that is the war between Israel and Hamas, the Palestinians.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is that the Palestinians and the Israelis have been at war ever since the Bible days. And I think that might be the reason why I had the premonition, because, I am a student of the Bible, a believer in the Bible, and the Bible does predict the future, And so this dream that I thought I was having a dream was the fact that I felt like I was there. I was running for my life. I woke up screaming, scared, after when I did wake up. But it was really, really hard for me to wake up because I could usually control my dreams. Because I'll say, no, 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 this is not happening because I have that ability. But I could not get out of this, and that let me know that it was a premonition. No matter how many times I said, no, this is not real, this is not happening. The bombs kept coming, people were still screaming. All these planes was in the air. I mean, the sky was filled with planes, and there was these foreigners. They were jumping out of the planes with parachutes, landing on the ground with guns and just shooting, shooting, shooting. And I was at something like a school or college or university, or it was a big building. I don't know what it was, but it was full of people, and we were just trying to run from hallway to hallway, from room to room. And everywhere we went, these foreigners were behind us, shooting, running. And I kept trying to pull myself out of it, trying to pull myself out of this a dream. I kept telling myself, you're dreaming, wake up, wake up, wake up. And I could not stop dreaming that dream. But then when I did, when it let me go, now premonitions will hold you until it finished telling you what it wants you to know. But so when the premonition finally let me go, then I woke up scared to death because I thought that this was really happening. I woke up screaming. And then when I woke up, I was in a sweat, and I was scared, and I was just listening. I raised up in the bed and I was listening, I was looking, and it was just horrifying. I couldn't go back to sleep. And that same premonition and it happened every step of every minute of the premonition happened exactly the same way it happened from the very first time that I had this premonition. I had it 3 times within the last year and a half. The last time I had it was back here in the spring, and I think I shared it on the show.
You did.
But yeah, but I kept saying, when we talked about politics, we talked on our politics, so we were talking about how vulnerable the United States is
Yeah.
because what?
Right.
We have weak leadership. And it always, when you have weak leadership, it always opens up gaps. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow on politics, so I'm not going to get too far in politics. I got a lot to say about it. But I just wanted to share that premonition to you so that you guys can understand that if you ever have something like this to happen to you, and you can't, and usually a premonition will repeat itself. If it doesn't happen instantly, it will repeat itself. You'll have it again until it actually happens. Now, what I'm interested to find out is that am I going to have this premonition again after this war? I knew it wasn't the Russian and Ukrainian war, but the state of Israel and Hamas, the Palestinians with the Israelis, goes way back to Bible days. And
Right. I hope you don't.
I hope I don't either. But the thing about this is, and we're gonna talk about it tomorrow, is that it's going to expand. I'm afraid it's going to expand.
I agree.
And that's where my premonition part of it comes in. And so we'll get further into detail about that tomorrow, so that we can try to just get it off our chest. Because see, you got to have somebody to talk to about things like this when you're concerned about your country, when you're concerned about the state of war, those things, when you're concerned about humanity and the way that these people are, what they're experiencing is exactly what I had in that premonition.
Yeah.
These people are going through what I was going through in that premonition. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they were caught off guard. And in this premonition, we were caught off guard. All of a sudden, it was just planes in the sky. They were dropping bombs, and then soldiers coming out with guns and just started shooting at us. That's the reason why I think that that particular premonition is the match.
Yeah.
It's the match
Yeah.
to what has happened to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do
Well,
y'all think
Emily,
about that? Yeah, James.
the reason I said I hope you don't dream it again is because don't forget, China's at war with their people too.
Yeah, yeah. And so,
Well,
I just don't.
I've
Kathy.
had I've had a couple premonition, and I actually, I was actually in a Middle Eastern country, and I was trying to stop people from being executed, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and then another time I had premonition about Chinese people invading the United States, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't too far fetched, but I don't know. I was in like the military or just gotten out of the military, so I'm not sure, but I know it felt real. I mean, when I was trying to protect those Middle Eastern people, I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I had done that before.
Mm-hmm.
I had done
Yeah,
it
I know what you're talking about.
in a
So,
past life
go
or
ahead.
something. In a
Go
past
ahead, Kathy.
life,
Past
it felt
life,
like
yeah.
that's what I
I
felt
know,
like.
right? And those, yeah, and it's really funny, like how you can have deja vu in your dreams too.
Yeah, yeah.
Has that happened to you guys before?
All the
You
time.
go back to the same dream
Mm-hmm.
that you've had before,
I'll
and you
give you an
like,
example.
okay,
I'll be listening to the radio and I'll say, you know what? I'd like to hear this song. And next song comes on is that song I was just thinking of.
yeah, no, that is, a premonition. You have, uh, that's like a instantaneous
It's kind of
premonition.
scary.
It is weird, isn't it? You get a weird
Very.
feeling,
Yeah.
because when I had that instant premonition about the car, that was so scary. And my mom is the one that told me, Tim, your grandmother, she said, you got the gift. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, what gift? She said, you knew
Yeah.
that was going to happen before it happened. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, wow. And I wasn't really into that stuff, because I was young.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
uh, I was only 21 years old. I wasn't
Right.
really into
Yeah.
this
Right.
stuff.
That's the furthest thing from your man at that age, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just wanted to kind of touch on what you had said about your premonition
Mm-hmm.
dealing with the war. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I also myself am a student of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it's going to spread because several signs, what they call the sign of the times, have
Mm-hmm.
happened and are taking place.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Book of
Yeah.
Revelations. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And and the other thing is that the the Palestinian territory, of the Syria, Iraq, um, Hamas, and those
Yeah.
areas, Lebanon, those
Iran.
areas. Yeah, Iran definitely. That land was settled by the Canaanites
Mm,
back in the Bible days, and
mm,
see, and that's where it really starts back in the Bible days, is because God separated the two brothers. When Cain killed his
yeah.
brother,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Cain became a Canaanite, and he was sent to a faraway land, and so that's where they settled in the Middle East of the world. And so the Canaanites really believe that that is their territory from the beginning, you see.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened was, when the Israelites got freed from slavery from the Pharaohs, they didn't know where they was going to go, and they ended up going over to the Canaanites' land and settling in there. And they also took over some other territories of some, what do you call them? They weren't Iranians, what? I guess, yeah, Arabia. They took over some parts of that, and that's where the Israelites settled.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not only that, but Noah,
Uh
after
huh.
he landed on Mount Arafat,
Hmm.
he gave his children areas to develop, and
Yeah.
spread lineage. And one of the sons of Noah, went back to Canaan, and also
Yeah.
went to the Middle East. So I traced it back that far. So
Yeah. It does go back.
I
Good
did.
job. Good job, Kathy. Because see,
Thank
people don't understand that this is not just something that just happened.
Right.
No.
And the young people don't know
No.
because they don't they don't do the Bible, right?
Mhm.
So unless they grew up in doing studying the Bible and know the stories and know the history of humanity,
Right.
because this is humanity. Uh, we are all either Canaanites or Israeli or
Mhm.
uh, what was the other one? Starts with the G. With Hebrew
Yeah.
and uh, not Gemini, but
Gentile.
uh,
Gentile.
Gentile. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
it. That's it. Right, Kevin. Thank you. Yeah, I was getting close.
That's good.
Yep.
That's
It's close.
I was trying. I was trying to get as close as I could,
You're
but
good.
She's
You
quick
gave me a
yes,
tonight.
clue. You gave me a clue. So
yeah. There are 7 tribes. Okay, and so all of us are from one of those 7 tribes. And if you study about the holy city that's built in heaven, God has a gate for all of the 7 tribes. For each tribe still has a whole territory in heaven.
Mm.
And at the entrance of the gate across is the writing of the name of the tribe, so that when people go to heaven, they know which section of heaven to go to.
Mm.
But they all get along. You can also find this in the Bible. The if you really just get into the Bible, it can get scary,
Yeah.
and that's why some people just don't really want to deal with it,
Mm.
uh, because it can be scary, but it's the truth.
Mm.
There's no other book. Now they say that the Torah and the Quran is like that as far as predicting.
yeah,
From
I was
day
going to
from
add
day
something
one.
about that. Yeah. Right
Okay.
now, the West is gotten away from prophetic dreams and all of that. But yet, there was an article on the New York Times that mentioned that it's actually rising up now, because you can go on YouTube and actually watch people like Julie Green and stuff like that. And a lot of
Yeah.
these people are for Trump. A lot of these people are for Trump. So I'm just mentioning that because it
Yeah.
said so in the article. But for most Muslims, dreams get tested for spiritual truth. So they actually still believe in prophetic dreams. And
They
the
do.
Western
Yeah.
countries have gotten away from that.
Yeah.
And it's almost, and it's also even truth being tested for truth, because you got to test it,
Yeah.
because you can't, there's going to be a lot of false prophets that come out. So you
That's
have to know
right.
the difference between the false and the real ones. So,
Yes,
but
Kathy.
yeah. So,
Definitely.
yeah, and also some people got hurt by pastors and ministers who
Hmm.
deterred them because of manipulation.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
you can't stop you just
Hmm.
because they manipulated gospels and different things doesn't mean that you have to stay away from it entirely. So if it's
Hmm.
from God, it's going to strengthen you, it's going to
Right.
encourage you, and you'll
Right.
know otherwise if it's not.
Yeah.
But
And the thing about it is, like, we have not grown. Like you say, we have gotten away from it, and it began in around the 1800s or so.
mhm,
After the states had come together, for instance, in Salem, when they did all the witch trials,
Yeah.
just because
mhm,
That's because these women had a gift. They
Yeah.
had the gift to heal. They had
Mhm.
a gift to predict the future and see in the future. They just had gifts from God. And then, of course, anything that man does not understand, they want to destroy it. And
Exactly. And prophets are not popular. They're not
right.
popular because people want to know
And
the
it,
truth.
that's why, yeah, and
Yes.
that's the correlation that I'm making is that you would think that in 2023, compared to 1800, 2000 years ago, that what was that 200 years ago, whatever, that people would have uh, grown to know that, yeah, the witches were executed for no reason at all, just because they had gifts. Okay, so if
Right.
you accept that, why do you still not accept people have gifts today? But society still don't. They still want to call people that have gift witches or soothsayers, and all
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
kinds of stuff,
And that's
Or,
near my neck of the woods.
yeah, or they're snatched by the government.
Yeah. So Doug says, hi, Doug.
What's up,
Doug
Doug?
says Muslim faith has stayed unchanged in the discipline of their limitations for spiritual safekeeping. You're absolutely right, Doug. I can give you a hand on that.
Yeah.
And and right now, you know what? We got conflict within the states
Yeah.
because we have two Congress, three, four, uh, uh, AOC and her crew. They are for Palestinian. They're for Palestine. Got one
Hmm.
congresswoman that has a Palestine flag out in front
Hmm.
of her office, and they want her to remove it. Some people do, and some people don't. So we got an argument. We got some split stuff going on right now from the
They say
war
it's a
on,
conflict of interest.
yeah, on Capitol Hill. And not only that, we got protests and rallies going on in cities and states nationwide.
Hmm.
Along with the
Because we
border.
we have people that live here that are Palestinian, and we have people that live here who are Jews and Israeli. So now you got side pit against side
Right. And we're
within our
also,
nation.
yeah, and we're also being infiltrated at our borders by the thousands. I think it's
Of
at 1 million
course,
now.
of
Yeah, did you
course.
see the numbers, Tim?
Yeah, yeah, I saw them, man.
Well,
Staggering.
Palestinians and the
Yeah,
Egypts, and all of them are coming over now in
yeah,
drones.
yeah. And yeah. So we're in hiding alert. Uh we don't know how many sleeper cells we got over here.
Yeah,
They
and
said,
that's scary because when the government tells you not to worry,
Worry.
you better worry.
Yes, definitely.
Doug says, or they also call you necromancers. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that word. And also they'll call you alchemists too.
Mm,
That's the word that they used back in the day, years ago. Alchemists,
mm,
and but people had gifts from day one,
yeah.
because God give them these gifts so that they could kind of help in society and help in the community because it goes back to the village uh, saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and it
Yeah.
takes a gifted person, to share with their village and to be able to guide and bring peace and have a peaceful, happy community. And
Can
mhm.
can can I read a scripture that shows that prophets aren't dead?
Yes.
Basically,
yes, definitely,
yeah.
please.
In the end times, it's supposed to be more prevalent than even back in the old days. So people use the excuse that it was only in the old days in the Bible, but that is not true. So in Acts 2:17 through 18, we read, "In the last days, God said, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams.
Mm,
Even on
Mm,
my servants, both women and men, I will pour out my spirit in these days, and they will prophesy clearly. Since the time of Christ, we have been living in the last days, and this gift is anything but gone. So,
yeah, now that is sweet there. You know, that's you got to save that because you're gonna have to read it again on our paranormal show.
yeah, I will
Make,
for sure. I
make,
found that today.
make sure
Yeah.
you print that out. Save that. Bookmark that page right there.
I
Okay,
will.
Doug, you'll take your comment, then we're gonna get out of here. It's 8:04. Doug says the U.S. military is signing up many of the immigrants crossing over. I hope not, Doug.
I hope not either.
And Doug says communities with villages are a great mechanism for family support. Exactly. And that's exactly what the government did is broke up communities when they put single women who had babies on welfare and housing.
Yeah.
And then you're going to give them money to help them out. You're going to give them food stamps. Okay.
They weren't too dependent on them.
Yeah, and then you give them housing, but tell them that the fathers of the children can't stay in the house
Yeah.
with their children. See,
did.
that's where the breakup of family and community began for the minority communities, you say, and that was the largest disparity that the government ever created. And
Right.
I'm just thankful that I did not have to have support from the government. I separated from his daddy probably like in my 5th month. And then when he was born, I got 1 month of welfare. It was $97. I'll never forget it. And after that, I was at home with him for a whole year because I went to his grandmother's. I was staying with my mother. So I didn't have to work because I wanted to stay with him for almost a year, as close as I could before I went back to work. And so when I went back to work, I think Tim was like 11 or 12 months old, something like that. And the first thing I did was I got a money order and I sent a $97 money order back to the state of Tennessee. And they sent the money back to me with actually it was a check because I actually had a checking account. And and they sent the check back to me and told me that I didn't have to pay them back for the 1 month of welfare that I had received.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know what?
I've always worked all my life, and my son followed in my steps. He's always worked all his life.
Yeah, you know, I heard something a while back that was so profound, and it fits in with what you were just stating about what the government did for us not having, giving them food and shelter, but not allowing the father to be into the household. What was said was that how can you get mad at the government when they ask for their children back when they helped raise them, and they were speaking about the prisons. Yeah.
So, what do you can you expound on that a little bit more? What are you saying? Who is asking? How can who ask for their children back?
The government. They were saying that since the government helped raise them, right? When they do wrong out here, how can you be mad when the government takes its children back?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right.
I see this.
They have raised them, so they're more
Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
The Uncle Sam role.
Right. Yeah,
I see what you're saying. Well, yeah. That and a whole lot of more stuff we can talk about tomorrow night. But we're gonna get out of here on Paranormals because once we start talking about politics, man, the show would just go on and on and on and on. But it's a hard time. The funny thing is, we always told them I think this is my 3rd year with Pearl's Politics, and I always kept telling them, my audience knows this. everything in your life has something to do with politics.
Yeah.
Everybody talking about it now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
They weren't concerned about it. What last week or week before last,
Yeah.
were they?
Yeah.
No,
But now that's what's trending.
They talking about it now, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh. And half of those, if not more than half of those that's talking about it, wish that Donald Trump had been president because we wouldn't be in this mess.
Yeah.
I even saw where a Democrat said that. You
Yeah.
know, somebody up there on Capitol Hill said that.
Yeah.
But the truth is just the truth, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people wishing that now because they know, like we already got this in-state, in-country protesting, pitted against sides, because we have both sides living here. We have both sides as Israeli American or Palestinian American, or
Yeah.
and so they're gonna stick with their side. So, but what? That's just the way it is. It's end times. And when I say end, I end times right now. And we bring it to y'all live and in living color. So you do not want to miss us on tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Because we're coming at you big with some big politics.
Yeah.
The show might last for an hour and a half because when we get started, we just can't stop. We got so much to talk about.
A lot. Yeah.
I know y'all tired of hearing about the war, but that's important simply because that affects us. It affects us simply because our country supports Israel.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we got, because this war is finna affect your finances, your economy. It's finna affect your gas. It's finna affect your medicines, transportation, shipping, everything.
Yeah, it also was an old saying that the revolution would not be televised.
That's a good one there. We'll close with that, James. I think James will let you have the last word.
I just want to say one thing. How many people actually wake up, look at the clock, and see 11:11?
I have. Yeah.
I see it so many
times.
I do. That means your angels are watching over for you.
Not even that. I see 444.
I see 444, 333, and 111.
Yeah,
all the time.
Those are all good numbers. Those are all good numbers.
And the 444 is my mark. The Bible speaks about those who carry the mark.
Wait.
Because I have a 4 number on my shoulder. I'll take a picture of it with my camera and actually show it on the screen one day. I guess for our next paranormal show, if we don't have a guest, but we might have a guest, so I won't show it. But I was born with
my address a lot.
I was born with the number 4 on my shoulder.
Oh
wow! I see 144 a lot too.
Do you?
The 140.
Yeah. And then when this movie came out with just the name 4, Tim, have you watched that movie? It might be a series. It's called 4, and I think I watched it, but I'm not sure. But now that we're talking about it tonight, I'm gonna go look for it tomorrow. and see if it's a paranormal movie, right?
Yeah.
But how many actually see their address come out on the clock?
I don't see that.
I hadn't thought of that. I don't know. Maybe I've seen it, but
I do all the time.
Well, I don't simply because we're not. I'm in military time. I'm not in military time because my address begins with 14, so I would never see that. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I see mine all the time. I look over at the clock and it'll be like, wow.
Well, your address would have to be.
You would see it on your cell phone in digital. You would see it on your cell phone. I've seen it on my cell phone. 14 numbers. I have.
Yeah.
So you got your phone set on military time?
One of them. Yeah. I don't know how that happened.
Oh yeah, that's right, because you are military. Yeah.
Yeah.
And said, I know military time because I worked for Defense Depot federal government for 13 years, and that's what we use. We had to use military time at work instead of the regular time. So you learn that stuff by heart, you know?
Yeah.
And I was so glad when I retired and didn't have to do any more military. Didn't have to do any more military accounting. I was so happy. Anyhow, that's our show for tonight. We'll see you for tomorrow night with politics top. And of course, we're going to discuss Iraq and not Iraq, but we're going to discuss the war because we'll have updates because we'll be able to see tomorrow.
Yep.
But we're going to also discuss other politics because there's still other stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
Especially the part about the new speaker that they finally got around and selected.
Oh my.
And
did they elect him?
Well, they're supposed to be voting tonight, but yeah, he did. He's got enough to carry the 210 votes that he needs.
I seen he had a lot of votes. I didn't know if he got elected.
Yeah, Scalise. And so, but I also want to point out tomorrow in politics is that when they did put the speaker out, the speaker of the House out, that gave Hamas an opening.
Yeah, it did.
That was a big opening. And I think that's why it also occurred at that very time, you know,
because they had the ransom money.
Yeah, all these things don't forget about them. We got to talk about the $6 billion, but all these things are connected, and nobody can connect them with fun like we do on Pearl's Politics. So be sure, be sure to tune in with us. That's our time. Everybody say good night.
Good night.
Good night, family.
Good night.